Let me tell you about a woman named Naomi. A good woman. A hard-working woman. The kind of woman who would skip meals so her kids could eat. And one day, she signed her name on a loan for £30,000. She didn't do it for luxury. She didn't do it for trips or designer bags. She did it to save her family. But what she didn't know was that the moment she signed that paper, everything in her life started falling apart. Stay with me, because this story will teach you something that could save your future. Naomi was the kind of person people leaned on. She lived in a modest flat in the UK. Nothing fancy, just clean, warm, and filled with the sounds of children. 2 kids, and a husband named Darren. Darren wasn't evil. He wasn't a villain in the usual way. He was inconsistent. Some months he was motivated. Other months he was between jobs. And when the bills came, Naomi's name was always the one on the payment plans. She worked long shifts, retail during the day, cleaning offices 2 evenings a week. Her body was tired, but she kept going because mothers like Naomi don't have the luxury of collapsing. But one winter, everything got worse. The landlord increased the rent. The gas and electricity jumped again. Her son started getting asthma symptoms, and the inhalers weren't free. And then, Darren came home with that face, the face that says, something's wrong. He sat down quietly and said, "Naomi, I messed up." She didn't even ask what, because she already knew. When Darren said messed up, it usually meant money. He'd been trying to run a small business with a friend, buying phones in bulk, reselling them. But something went wrong. A supplier disappeared. The friend stopped answering calls. And now Darren owed people money. Not later money, not next month money. Now money. He looked at her like she was the solution, like she always was. And that's the moment Naomi's heart did what hearts do. It chose love over logic. At first, Naomi said no. She tried to be strong. She said, "We'll figure it out slowly. We'll budget. We'll cut down." But Darren shook his head. "No, you don't understand. If I don't pay them back this week, it's going to get serious." Naomi asked, "How serious?" And Darren didn't answer. He just stared at the floor. That silence scared her more than any threat. So Naomi did what many people do when fear speaks louder than reason. She searched online late at night. Fast Loan UK. Consolidation, loan 30,000, bad credit approval. She didn't want to, but she felt trapped. The kids were asleep. Her hands were shaking as she filled the form. Income, address, bank statements, employer. She knew the interest would be high. She knew it wasn't ideal. But she told herself one sentence that ruined her life. It's just temporary. A few days later, she got approved. The money landed in her account, and for the first time in months, she felt relief. Darren hugged her like a hero. He cried. He promised her, "This is it. I'm going to fix everything. I swear." And Naomi believed him. Because when you love someone, you don't want to see the red flags. You want to see hope. At first, things improved. The debt Darren owed was paid. The landlord got the rent on time. The fridge wasn't empty. Naomi felt proud. She felt like she saved the household. But then the loan repayment started. Every month, money left her account like a silent thief. At first, she could manage it. She tightened her budget. No takeaways, no little treats, no extras. But Darren started acting comfortable. Not grateful. Comfortable. And that's when Naomi noticed something that made her stomach drop. Darren was spending again. New trainers, a new phone, small business deals that always sounded good but never brought income. Naomi tried to talk about it gently. "Darren, we need to be careful. This loan is serious." Darren replied, "Stop stressing. I'm handling it." Naomi hated that phrase because "I'm handling it" usually meant he wasn't. Then one afternoon, her bank sent her a message. payment failed. Her stomach twisted. She checked her balance. It was lower than it should have been, so she checked the transactions. And there it was, transfers, cash withdrawals, online payments over the last few weeks. Darren had been taking money quietly, not a little, enough to make the repayment bounce. Naomi confronted him that night. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were burning. "Darren, did you take money from the account?" He didn't deny it. He said, "I needed it. You act like I'm a child." And Naomi whispered something that broke her own heart. "I'm not acting like you're a child. I'm acting like you're someone who will ruin us." After that, everything started collapsing. The loan company called, then called again, then started sending letters. Naomi's phone became a source of fear. Every time it vibrated, she felt sick. Her sleep disappeared, her appetite disappeared, and the worst part, she couldn't tell anyone. Because when you're the strong one, people don't expect you to be drowning. The stress began showing in her face. She snapped at the kids for small things. She cried in the bathroom silently so they wouldn't see. Then the real damage arrived. Her credit score dropped. Her overdraft maxed out. The landlord warned her. And Darren? Darren became defensive. He started blaming Naomi. "You're always negative. You don't support my ideas. If you weren't controlling, I would succeed." Controlling. That word hit Naomi like a slap, because she didn't feel controlling. She felt terrified. One night, Naomi found a letter, a final notice. She sat on the edge of the bed holding the paper, shaking. The kids were asleep. Darren was in the living room watching videos like nothing was wrong. Naomi walked in and placed the letter on the table. "We're going to lose this home." Darren barely looked up. He said, "Relax, something will come through." That sentence did something inside Naomi. It killed the part of her that kept hoping, because something will come through is what people say when they have no plan. Naomi realized something painful. She didn't have a partner. She had a passenger. The next morning, Naomi didn't argue. She didn't beg. She didn't cry. She did something different. She called the loan company and asked for options. She spoke to a debt advisor. She made a realistic plan, one that didn't depend on Darren suddenly becoming responsible. That same day, she opened a new bank account in her own name, and when Darren noticed, he exploded. "You're trying to cut me out!" Naomi looked at him, calm and clear. "I'm trying to save the children." Darren tried guilt. "So after everything, you're turning your back on me." Naomi nodded slowly. "No, Darren. I turned my back on the version of you that keeps choosing yourself." That night, she packed a small bag for him, not because she didn't love him, but because she finally loved herself enough to stop bleeding for someone who refused to heal. Darren left, slamming the door like he was the victim. Naomi locked it, and for the first time in years, the house was quiet. Not peaceful, but quiet. And sometimes, quiet is where healing begins. Naomi didn't magically become rich after Darren left. She still had the £30,000 loan. She still had stress. But something changed. She no longer had someone creating new problems while she tried to solve old ones. Over time, she rebuilt. Slowly, painfully, but surely. And one day, her daughter asked her something. "Mom, why did you let Dad take so much?" Naomi swallowed hard. Then she said, "Because I thought love meant saving him. But love without boundaries isn't love. It's self-destruction." And here's the lesson for anyone watching. Never sacrifice your future to prove your loyalty. Never sign debt because someone is pressuring you with fear. And never confuse helping with enabling. Because some people don't change when you save them. They change when you stop saving them. If this story taught you something, don't just watch and scroll. Leave a comment. Boundaries save lives. And if you want more real-life stories with lessons that hit deep, subscribe, because the next story might be the one that saves you.